Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're at home and we're just going to be doing a little bit of work on our Massy 178. The power steering pump on it has been leaking for a while, and this means that the power steering doesn't work for very long. So this is the power steering pump in here, and this is the oil reservoir here, and it's quite small, and it's losing all of that oil. So there's a seal in the front of the pump here between the pump and the engine crankcase where the engine oil is. So it's leaking all the hydraulic oil out of the reservoir through the pump and into the crankcase here. So we're going to strip the pump off now and see if we've got a seal kit for it. We're going to put a new seal kit in it. To get the pump off, there's 3 bolts in here. And 2 hydraulic lines. So I'm going to whip this off quickly, and then we'll have a look at cleaning it up and putting a new seal kit in it. Okay, so this is our pump here once we've got it off. This is the 3 bolts that hold it on, and the gear that drives it. This runs on, I think, the camshaft gear to drive the power steering pump. First thing we're going to do is undo the nut at the back end and take the reservoir off, and there's a filter in here as well that we're going to remove and replace. So there's just 1 bolt in the end here, and I think it should have a fibre washer to seal it, but that's long since disappeared on this one. We'll make up something to go back in there before we put it back together. And I should have emptied that, but that's all right. So there's a little notch in here, which means we have to line it up with here to get it the right way round when we're putting it back together again. Okay, the next thing that we want to do is to unscrew this this piece of rod here. We could also just knock the roll pin out here, but we're going to unscrew this because it'll make it a bit easier for working on the rest of it. This is also not the correct filter in here, so we've got a new filter that will hopefully work a little bit better in here. So the suction, oil suction is in here, sucks it in through the filter, and this is the return hole up here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is undo these 4 bolts in the end here, and that will take the pump apart. The next thing we're going to do is just take this circlip off the end here so that we can get this gear off. So that gear just pulls off like that. And there is a woodruff key in here too that just slides out. I didn't see where that went. There it is. So a little woodruff key there. And there's another circlip in here that we'll get to in a minute. Now the pump should just tap apart. Okay, so this is the back end of the pump with a couple of big O-rings in here. Whoops. This is the center of the pump this is a gear pump, this one, so we've got the gears that produce the pressure. So that again. The pressure goes out this side here and gets sucked in through the middle here. As the gears turn, it brings the oil round the outside here on both sides and then where the teeth meet, it creates a high pressure, so it's got to squeeze it out this pipe instead. And then this is the front of the pump here, and these seals here are the ones that are the problems to us at the moment. So we'll take this circlip out here. And yeah, that seal in there is well and truly stuffed. So I'm going to just clean up all of these bits now, and we'll come back and we'll reassemble it. Okay, this is the new seal, this is the old seal. They're very slightly different diameters. The new seal is slightly bigger, so if we look inside here, there is a step part way down. The old seal sat right down the bottom, and the new seal is only sitting down on that step. So the kit we've got, other than those two seals, is actually just a bundle of O-rings. So now I think that's the main sealing one for the reservoir. And most of these should be pairs of O-rings. So these ones here should be the flat ones to go in here. So now it's just a game of finding which O-ring goes where. And trying to manipulate it into the spot it's supposed to go. So as you can see, the O-rings follow a little bit of a strange path. Okay, so there's the two O-rings on the end covers, and now we can start reassembling the pump. I'm just going to get a little bit of clean oil to put on the surfaces as we put it back together. So this is the actual gear mechanism here. They look all right. There's a little bit of scoring on the inside here. But there's very little wear in this pump really, so it'll be good for another few years to come yet. So we're just going to put a bit on this shaft here before we slide it through the seal. And we'll put a bit in here as well, just to lubricate it before we start. Now, it's important to get all of this the right way round or the pump won't work properly. So it's got little dowels here that have got to line up with larger holes in here. So that makes it a little bit easier for us to get everything the right way round. You can also see the marks from where the old O-rings used to go. So we can match them up with where the new O-rings are pointing, as well as a second check to make sure we've got it all right. And then the same on this side, the dowels stick out here as well. And we can also see where the O-rings were seated before. Around. Now we can put these bolts back in here. Okay, because this seal is a bigger diameter and sits on the upper step, we actually can't get that first circlip in anymore. So we're going to have to leave that out, and if it doesn't work, we'll have to try and get the correct seal that sits right down the bottom there. So next we can put that little wood rough key back in, and the gear that goes on here. Okay, so there's a little seal here that can come off because there's a new O-ring to take the place of this seal. So just carefully take that off. Then there's this O-ring that goes on here instead. The new filter goes on. Oops. It's nice to actually have the correct filter on here. Okay, so this cover can only go on one way round so that we get the filler plug at the top. So there's a little notch in the base here that's got to line up with the notch over here. And then there should be a copper washer in the top here. I don't have one at the moment, so I've just made up a little rubber gasket with a bigger washer that we're going to put on for the moment, and I'll have to find a copper washer for this. Okay, now we need to go and bolt it back onto the tractor. Okay, to refit this, we're just going to put a little bit of gasket glue around here. Once again, we're using the old aviation Celastic. Okay, and then the pump simply slips back into place here. Dodging around all the things that are in its way. We'll just put the two easy bolts in to locate it. Now that it's located, we're also going to just try and do up the hydraulic lines loosely. So this is the filler plug here right up on top of the tank. We just want to fill this right up to the top. Whoops. Now, because this is such a small little reservoir, it actually doesn't hold enough to fill the whole hydraulic system once it's been empty. So I'm just going to put this bung back in very loosely. I'm going to start the tractor. We're going to turn the steering wheel full lock to full lock. That just gets the oil all the way through the system. Then we're going to fill it up again, and we'll do the same thing again, and turn it full lock to full lock, and then we should be good to go. So there we go. It's that simple to rebuild the power steering hydraulic pump on a Massy 178. I hope this video has been useful to you, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Bye.